This is 33% Pulp, squeezing the best out of 1/3 of a book. We each read a different third of a book we choose based entirely on the cover and then recap it across 3 episodes. I'm Daniel. That's Amber.
Hi.
And that's Lindsay.
Hi.
So as a pre-show reminder, we're holding a drawing for copies of this book, The Man From Pansy by Don Rico. For anyone who rates and reviews us on iTunes, you're entered into the drawing. And then anyone who leaves us a review, we're just going to send you a bookmark. That's not even a contest. You're just going to get one. Nope. As long as you give us some way to contact you.
We got to figure out who you are.
Yeah, we'll get in touch and we'll send you a bookmark. That's pretty neat.
It's exciting. It's exciting.
Okay, so this is the second episode of our 3-part recap of the book, The Man From Pansy. Disclaimer, spoilers ahead.
In the last episode and first part of this particular book, we find out that, first of all, the whole book is written as a report that the main character, Buzz Cardigan, is writing to his superiors back in D.C. He is undercover on assignment, trying to figure out this gay porn communist ring.
Mm-hmm.
Because people are disappearing from Hollywood, and basically they're forced to make these porn videos and are being held, I guess, hostage, I don't know, in Cuba.
Yeah.
And we have met characters like Chad Burroughs, who has aunt/not aunt Martha.
Definitely not really an aunt.
Not an aunt, okay. And who else have we met?
Sugar
Jazzy
Pop.
Gunner.
Mm-hmm.
Sugar Pop. Jazzy
Ps.
Gunner just seems like a person who's hanging around. I don't think he has a job or anything. He just kind of is gay in Hollywood.
That's a job.
Sugar Pop is a stripper. There's Merle Porter, who owns the Queen's Court. There's Merle Porter's sister, who is... Oh, that's Sugar Pop.
Yeah.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
That's Sugar Pop. And then there's Bev, who is a woman that Buzz could love and could love Buzz. And I think the last thing that we saw was Jazzy had been spying on Buzz, and Buzz pulled him out of his VW and punched him in the face.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's the last thing we saw.
Yep, that is correct.
Excellent.
Okay, so we're starting with Chapter 8. It is titled More Females of the Species. It is Wednesday, June 21st, 2:30 a.m., and the location apparently is Limbo. So that's what it says in the book. So at the beginning of each chapter, there's the title of the chapter, and then there's a number that tells you the day, the date, the time, and the location of where this stuff is all happening. So that's where that's coming from. Okay, so after his confrontation with Jazzy outside the strip club, where Merle was weirdly celebrating his sister dancing. Okay. We have a short scene. It's okay because he's gay. I don't know. We have a short scene with Buzz driving through the Hollywood Hills back to his pad, quote unquote, and contemplating all the sex that everyone but him must be having at this hour while he's trying to maintain his double agent status as a gay ex-G man. Okay. At this hour, most of the building lights have been turned off, but you know what's going on, don't you? You know that guys and dolls are locked in each other's arms, finding the answer to the urges that hit us all and that most can satisfy. Except you. You wonder if the American public realizes the existence of soldiers like you who more than give their all. So he's a little salty about it, but he's like, I'm trying to be a patriot.
He's comparing himself to like soldiers who like actually literally give their all, though.
He's like in the shit right now, trying to not like, yeah. He's doing things. Okay.
All right, Buzz.
All right. So apparently 15 minutes later in the Hollywood Hills, he makes it home, but he's got a hunch that something is waiting for him there. Here I was, walking into a trap, a willing victim for whoever was waiting for me, and doing it on purpose because this was the way I had to play it. This was the Nancy I had to be. But no Nancy I. Yeah. Inside I was a tiger, man, fangs and claws bared, ready for anything. That's where, that's where that quote comes from.
Yeah.
From my section. Except he wasn't ready for this, because there she is, Bev Tyler, sitting in his living room in skin-tight
How'd
gold...
she get in?
I'll tell you. In skin-tight gold lame pants and a
Wow.
men's button-up shirt without the buttons buttoned up.
Oh my gosh.
Apparently, Buzz knows for a fact that she doesn't like to wear a bra, and she's
Oh my
looking
God.
particularly smoking with her cigarette and a glass of booze at her feet.
Is she?
Wait,
is
I
this like when in Greece, she goes from like
when Olivia Newton-John
she
becomes
goes from
like the cool kid.
Sandra to Sandy. Is this the Bev transformation?
Because I
Beverly
thought
to
like
Bev?
Bev was like in the last
She was so hometown.
last time, Amber, you said she like is from the Midwest
Yeah,
or
right?
something.
You said
like-
that. She was sweet.
Small town
Oh,
girl
did I say that?
living in Hollywood.
What's up?
Wow.
She's ready to bust out.
Cigarettes. I'll
So
say.
so I think every time we've seen Bev so far too is like it's been on the phone.
Interesting.
Oh.
Yeah,
so this
I'm
is the first
surprised
time we've
to
This
see
actually
time it's in the
seen-
flesh.
And
In her
boy.
gold lame pants. Her
Wow.
skin-tight gold lame pants. Yeah.
I'm curious.
So-
You said that she's not wearing a bra. None of the female characters in my third are wearing a bra either. Like,
Oh
A
my
common
God.
theme.
This is a very common thing.
A common theme, yeah. Okay. So
I wonder if that means that they're like progressive because it's like the 60s and
no,
they're burning their
I
bras.
don't think so.
Okay,
no,
just
I
checking.
think
Yeah.
it's I think it's
I think
just
this is,
because women without bras on.
Yeah, this is Buzz Fantasy.
Right?
Hot.
Yeah.
Hot.
Okay, so yeah, so she got in because apparently the way that Californians used to lock their homes was this old style where you could just stick a card in and open a door. I don't know. That's what she says.
Oh, I've
Because
seen
he's
that
like,
in
"How the fuck
movies."
did you get in?" And then she's like, "I just put a card in it."
That seems very not safe.
Yeah.
I mean, because when is this supposed to be? 1961. People used to
Seven.
not lock their doors. Anyway,
That's why there were people like never mind. I
the
won't.
Zodiac. No.
Yeah, no, it's not.
Keeping it topical. Okay, so she tries to seduce him, confessing that even though she's found out he's a homosexual, it's too late. She's fallen in love with him. And yeah. And poor
Too
old
bad
Buzz.
for you.
Yeah, too bad. Too bad, so sad. He's gay. Goodbye. Except he's not. And poor old Buzz is having a real hard time trying to get her out of his apartment, what with how the way she's breathing is making her breasts seem that much more appealing as they, quote unquote, raise and lower
Oh my
mightily.
god. Oh my god.
I wonder if Bev's a spy.
We don't know, do we?
Mm.
I mean, Amber does.
Mm.
Okay, so Gold LeMay and Bouncy Breast aside, she does inadvertently give Buzz some interesting information. So, one, DC Smithers really wants Buzz to bone him. In fact, quote unquote, every daisy in town wants Buzz to pluck him, but Smithers wants to be number one. And
Wow.
why, you ask? Well, two, Daisy Chain needs a diversion from the loss of his sugar babies, Cloudhopper, and
What?
Ruff Ryder.
These are their
RUFF.
names?
Did he
RY.
name his testicles?
No. These are his sugar babies who he has lost. So,
Wow.
Cloudhopper and Ruff Ryder.
Are nicknames?
Huh? No,
For
like that's
his
like their
ex-
names, like their real names. Is I don't ask me. Okay, I didn't
Nope.
name them.
Carry on.
Okay, so, AKA some trade he found working Pershing Square in downtown LA one evening, and who he'd planned to have star in a television show until they'd mysteriously vanished the day of the pilot shoot. Okay, and then
I wonder if one is Ryan Gosling.
Wait, remind me who Ryan Gosling is in this one?
He's
Who
the
did-
guy that was chained to the bed. He's like the superstar that like had been missing for a year and was chained to the bed.
I
And,
think-
and him and Griffith.
No, I think that's someone different. I think
watch
that's someone
the-
different.
Okay.
Oh, that's right. In the very beginning, you're right,
Yeah.
right. Because
Yep,
he's like, this
yep.
is why you need to do this assignment. Let's watch this porn. Okay, so, and then the third piece of information that she inadvertently gives him. Not only had they vanished, however, but when DC did get word from them after having had his people go searching from Hollywood to their hometowns, he stopped. Curious. So this is Buzz after he manages to get Bev out of his apartment before pitching a tent.
Before fishing.
Yeah. I tried to forget about my need for her as I went over what she had told me. So, Ruff Ryder and Cloudhopper, two of Smithers' conquests, had vanished. Then Smithers got word from them, about them, I suspected, and stopped looking and became sadder than ever. Poorer than ever, too, if this was what I thought it was. The 2 gay boys had been spirited away by the Cuban Reds, and now he was paying for it. Dun dun dun! Okay.
Yep.
How is he paying for it?
He's
Because-
wealthy.
Oh, like emotionally.
Because,
No,
like blackmail.
with his money,
No,
yeah.
like blackmail.
Oh!
Remember? Because this is like, that's like a thing that the Cuban Reds are doing.
Yeah,
or
yeah.
whatever
They
this
capture
organization is.
they capture them and then they blackmail their rich lovers and then that's how they make money.
Oh my god. I
Mhm.
thought they were blackmailing families. That
Mm-mm,
sucks.
no.
I would just be like, man, sucks for you, ex-girlfriend.
Oh my gosh.
You ghosted
All right,
on
nobody
me.
date Lindsay. 'Cause she's like, have fun in Cuba,
Bye, bitch.
communist.
So, okay. So, feeling good about heading to DC's party the next evening, because I think that DC invited him to a party. Remember in the first thread? Yeah. Anyway, he is all ready to sleep
All
until
right.
he receives an alarming phone call from Aunt Martha. She was at Chad's
Ooh.
place and she needed to see him right away. Okay.
Uh-oh.
My sensation of something happening was stronger than ever now. The phone went dead. I stared at it for a moment like an idiot. I tried to think, but this certainly was no time to think. This was a time for action. And this, I suspected, was also a time for my gun. Orders or no orders. You can always break an order, but if you break a hunch, you get dead.
You get dead.
You get
That's it.
dead. You get
End of
dead.
chapter 8.
Wow.
Okay. Yeah.
That's exciting.
Okay, so chapter
Wow.
9.
Hold on. Before,
Yeah,
like, so you dive in the middle of this book, you're reading about, like, Cloudhopper and
Mhm.
Daisy Chain. and-
Rough Ryder.
Are you just, like,
At this point, I don't
What?
even know that his name is Daisy Chain. At this point, I just know him as
Oh,
DC.
right,
But I
yeah,
found out
yeah.
that he was Daisy
Mm.
Chain, later.
I mean, what was your reaction when you read this?
I was just like, what the fuck is going on?
Right?
Why is this woman in gold lame pants trying to seduce this guy? Like, what's happening? Like, what is, I don't know what's happening. What? Yeah, why is it
'Cause
2:45
I felt
in the
that
morning?
way. Oh my god, yeah. I felt that same way when I started my third. I was just like I read all these crazy names, like Sugar Pop and whatever and
Yeah.
Jazzy and then I read Fidel Castro and I was like is that another
You're like,
nickname
what?
or like the Fidel Castro? Anyway, carry on.
I was also confused. Carry on.
To clarify, Lindsay was also confused. Got it? Okay.
Chapter 9.
Chapter 9. Deader Than the Male. And male is spelled M-A-L-E, so whatever.
Okay.
Deader than the
It's still
male.
Wednesday.
What the fuck does that mean?
Huh? I don't
Deader
I don't
than the
know.
male? What
It's
does that
just-
mean?
I
That's
don't
the,
know.
remember how, like, in your first third, you didn't read the chapter titles because you thought that they didn't mean anything? Well, I still don't know what this chapter
it's
means.
true.
So
Okay,
it's
okay.
fine. It's totally fine. Okay, so it's still Wednesday. It's 3:30 a.m. now, and we are at Chad's pad. So Buzz makes it to Chad's in Santa Monica. There's a storm out over the ocean, and the breakwater is loud enough that it makes it difficult to hear. Not only that, but ominously, the lights are out, so there's no visibility either. He gets into the apartment around the back. Creeping his way through the place in the dark, he hits his shin on a coffee table, which, incidentally, gives him a point of reference for navigating the darkness, because he remembers what it looks like in his head, I guess.
Oh, okay.
So he runs his hand along the couch by the coffee table and finds Aunt Martha's naked thigh.
Ooh.
What? Why the fuck didn't she just say, like, hey, I'm over here. Like,
Well,
hey,
wait,
watch
hold
out
on,
for the coffee
hold
table.
on, hold on.
Uh-oh.
Because she was
Okay.
like frantic on the phone. Well, not frantic, but something was wrong. Remember? Because he had a
Oh,
hunch,
no, she's
right?
dead.
Right.
Oh no.
She's
So-
dead.
Still hanging on to my gun, I ran the other hand up the thigh, past the hips and onto the breast. That was when my hand came
what the
away
fuck?
sticky. Wait, can you just wait?
Sticky?
It came away sticky. Okay.
She's
Sorry,
dead, I
we'll let
think.
you read. Yeah, but I mean that's what we've gathered. But he's
Why
like,
would he be
groping her.
groping her boob? That's what I'm asking.
Well, because
Why-
he's like,
Why-
okay, it's completely dark. He can't see anything, so he's just like feeling along the couch. He finds her thigh.
Her-
he's like,
her
oh,
thigh
okay,
and breast.
Hello. Well, I
Yeah.
mean, I don't know. Okay, this is not a time like consent is a thing.
This is how he says hello.
And this is how he says hello. He touches your boob.
How 2017.
Yeah. Okay. There was only the long, harsh exhalation of breath and then a choked gasp that made me sick to hear. There was a gurgle in it. So, clearly, Aunt Martha's been
Oh.
shot. He goes to reach for the phone. Well, not clearly that she's been shot, but she's dead. He goes to reach for the phone to call a doctor when Chad stops him, his own gun steady in his hand.
The fuck?
Yeah. She's dying, Chad, I said. Let me get a doctor. I was stalling for time, hoping he would overlook the gun in my hand, but it was no use. So, sitting in an armchair in the corner opposite Aunt Martha and Buzz, Chad tells him to drop the gun and kick it over. I turned to Chad, my heart hitting hard. You damn son of a bitch, you killed her. I know. And I told you I had to do it because she lied to me. She shouldn't have lied, Buzz. She knew better than that. Put that gun away and let me call the police. You can prove insanity. You're obviously nuttier than a squirrel's warehouse. So that's where that one goes. Chad shook his head. The gun, however, didn't waver. Not a fraction. Okay, what were you going to say?
So Chad killed Martha?
Chad killed Martha.
Wow.
But what about the chopped liver?
I mean, she was really good at it.
I guess everybody's good at something. And everybody else dies.
Well,
Poor Martha.
I mean, they were also very good at having sex with each other, as you'll see. So
Chad?
Chad and Martha. So Buzz asks Chad for a smoke and a lighter, hoping to throw Chad off by tossing the lighter back at him when he's finished. It's no use, however. Chad doesn't flinch. Apparently, as Chad tells Buzz, he and Martha were going at it on the floor when Martha yells out Buzz's name. That's when he knew that Martha had lied to him about Buzz being queer, which was the point of their assignment from a quote-unquote very important individual.
Wait, so what happened? I missed it. What?
So,
who
Chad is pointing the
lied to
gun. Martha lied to Chad about, because remember in the first third, Martha sleeps with Buzz,
right? And didn't tell Chad.
And then didn't tell Chad. No,
right?
Didn't tell Chad, because apparently when you sleep with Buzz, you fall in love with him, or even if you don't sleep with Buzz, you fall in love.
Yeah.
He's just a really lovable guy.
But then she's later having sex with Chad, and she goes, "Oh, Buzz."
Yeah.
Okay, and then
Oh,
Chad
fuck.
knows. Yeah.
And Chad's like, "What the fuck?
That's the worst."
Mistake.
Yeah, it's the worst thing to do.
Okay. Yeah, you don't do that.
No, that's not appropriate.
She should have played it off as like, "Oh, buzz is the sound that bees make. I love bees."
I don't know if there's a way to recover from that one. Not when your assignment is Buzz Cardigan. Yeah.
Wow.
Okay, so because he slept with Martha, Chad asks Buzz whether he's bi, to which Buzz says yes. Then he asks him who his boyfriend in Washington is, and that's when Buzz makes a move. He goes to put his cigarette out in one of those tall ashtrays full of sand. So like those the retro ashtrays where it's like on a stand,
yeah,
and
like at hotels.
Yeah. Well, no, but it's just like the pole, and then it's just the ashtray with the sand in it.
Yeah,
like a really retro one.
Okay.
So he puts his cigarette out in one of those ashtrays, and instead of just putting it out, he grabs the whole thing and hurls it at Chad.
Oh, I thought you were gonna say he tries to seduce him or something. I was getting excited.
No, because Chad I think Chad is straight.
Okay.
He's pure man.
Oh, Chad is straight?
I think so, isn't he? I don't know.
Not even Artie? He can only make it with Artie. Artie, the art teacher.
Wait, Artie the... Oh, you're right. Oh, sad.
So that was all a lie?
Isn't that Aunt Martha, though?
No,
loose plot lines.
Remember, they couldn't resist embracing each other in the locker room showers, and so Artie, the art teacher, was relocated to San Francisco, and so they've had this long distance relationship.
Right, that's weird. So
that's a lie.
Chad is
poor Artie. Now Artie is all by their lonesome.
Yeah, they're lonesome. That's good.
I don't know. I'm not really sure.
We need some sort of at the beginning of a
tally?
Long novel, they have a family tree or whatever you call it. Genealogy.
You want a genealogy of these characters?
I want a genealogy of these characters. Who slept with who?
So if one of our listeners
not a
would
genealogy,
be kind enough
to that would be great.
To our
no. If our number one fan.
A week ago, it was you, Amber.
Oh, man. I guess I'll do a genealogy.
Okay, so he flings the thing at Chad, and Chad fires a shot, but Cliff. Whoops.
I know.
Buzz, yeah, our heroes keep mixing together.
Yeah.
Buzz manages to dodge his first shot and wrestle the gun out of Chad's hand and onto the ground. But then Chad grabs the gun and shoots himself next. Oops.
Himself?
Yeah, he shot himself.
Whoa.
To death?
To death. He shot himself to death.
Like,
It was like bang, and then he was gone.
Did he die or did he shoot himself?
Yeah, because he had to kill Martha because they failed their mission, right?
Yeah.
What was their mission?
So they're clearly bad guys, right?
Yeah, because their mission was to find out if Buzz was actually queer.
Yeah.
That was a fucking mission?
Like,
yeah.
I mean, it was for
like gay mafia
for the very important person, the ringleader or whatever.
Yeah.
Oh, they were part of it then.
Didn't see that coming, did you, Lindsay?
I'm sorry. I'm like way behind. I'm sorry. Okay.
Nope, but you only read a third. How would you know?
Okay.
You know.
I don't know. That's a. Oh my god, this book. Okay,
I know.
wow.
It's full of twists and turns.
There's lots of those, yeah.
Wow. Okay.
Anyway, so afterwards, Buzz quickly searches the apartment for clues on who the very important person is, but no luck. There's no evidence or a name for whoever is trying to manipulate Buzz for something called the Cubandale. Cuban deal. Because I can read English. Okay. So I don't know what the Cuban deal is.
I was like, what's the Cuban deal? Like Chippendale? Like, is there a...
Anyway, so there's no evidence there. And the end of that chapter. So chapter 10. Hell, the gang's all here. It is
Hell?
Hell,
As
the
in
gang's
heaven?
all here. So Buzz has already gone home. So now it's oh no. Yeah, he went home and he went to sleep and then he got up again. Now it is the same day, but now it's 10 p.m. instead of 3:30 a.m. and he's at the Fruit Arbor. The next evening, Buzz heads to DC's mansion in Coldwater Canyon. So he's going to the party, right?
The party.
There's like a lengthy description of this place. The lot is huge with a long drive and a guard shack. And the mansion is described in a way that I imagine Liberace's home would be. So it's like it's got like black and white marble columns, and it's all gold and sparkly and terribly, terribly tacky.
Wow, yeah.
Yeah. Buzz enters the living room where DC is chatting with guests in his sequin dinner jacket with a giant chrysanthemum on the lapel. It's very flamboyant and homosexual the way he's described. So,
that's
which is
his
another reason
description?
why it's like Liberace, because it's like glittery and so the guests are all Hollywood types, actors, filmmakers, and producers of the closeted variety, and lots of beautiful men. And so this chapter, I haven't really decided. I still can't really figure it out. I wrote down in my notes that it sheds some light on the author's view of gay men? ?
Okay.
But I can't really decide, like, is Buzz homophobic or is he not homophobic? Is the author homophobic? I don't really know what's happening. It's a little bit confusing.
So Buzz, but Buzz seems homophobic.
I mean, we'll get there.
Okay.
You'll see how I'll find out how you guys feel in a minute.
Okay.
Okay. The place was lighted up with chandeliers and with indirect lighting. The color scheme for the lighting was a deep blue, more lavender actually. Huge, larger-than-life-size oils hung on the walls, all of effeminate young men in the nude, posed in coy but virile stances. My feet sank into the deep carpeting. My senses were permeated with the violent odor of many perfumes, of smoke, of marijuana, of male sex run rampant.
Sounds great.
That's fine.
But okay, deep blue is very different from lavender.
I mean, I don't know.
Dude, if you're a straight man, though, you do not know the difference between those two colors.
Okay, that's going to come up again.
Oh, interesting.
So that's going to come up again. Because
Okay.
hold on to that thought.
Okay.
Or maybe that's just a stereotype that we are perpetuating.
Good job, Amy.
Yeah.
I just mumbled something. What I meant to say, I meant to ridicule you, Amber. Moving on.
I stand by
Instead,
my
I just sounded like a drunkard. Okay.
It's fine. Yeah, it's fine. DC takes Buzz over to the bar, and Buzz is eyeing up the place. He catches sight of Jazzy on the opposite side of the room, who is definitely keeping tabs on his movements.
Fucking Jazzy.
Oh, yeah, Jazzy's there again.
I really think he's a bad
The
guy.
crowd here was too sophisticated to stare at me as Jazzy was doing, but I knew each queer in the place was aware of me. Eyes darted at me, went up and down my body, took me in. Lips smiled quickly, shoulders lifted flirtatiously. With a little bit of effort, I could imagine myself as Queen of the May. I looked right past them, my eyes glazed, as though I didn't give a damn about any of them.
Is that how you flirt? You like raise your shoulders?
Yeah.
It's like-
Shoulders just
it
kind
is
of
raise
like,
my
is it like a
shoulders
shimmy
and,
or-
like,
Yeah.
and just like smile
try that at Whole
flirtatiously and like no, this is not how I. That's not how I flirt. There's apps for this.
Might be how I flirt, though.
There's
It is
apps
now,
for this
yeah.
now. We don't need to like look at people
Yeah,
like in the
right?
flesh. Yeah, no. So again, there's like I don't know. He doesn't give a damn about any of them. Meanwhile, Daisy is drunk as fuck and drunk AF is what I wrote, and hanging all over Buzz. Buzz comments on the people at the party, to which DC replies, and I was really gonna gay this up, but I'm not gonna do it. Or maybe I will. I don't know.
Gay it up.
Oh, them. Who cares about them? Nothing but a bunch of promiscuous harlots. That's all they are. They'll grab at anything in pants, just anything, I tell you. They're sickening. They're not like you and me, Buzzy darling. They're not loyal. They don't know the meaning of the word love. All they know is sex, 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 the beasts. Yeah.
Oh, I'm so glad you didn't gay that up.
Right?
I did. It probably
I love
like
your
wasn't
dramatic
even gay
readings,
enough.
though.
Like I totally read it more gay. than that.
You're so good at
Wow.
voices.
Yeah, I love it.
I mean, I think that they all sound the same, just a little bit different. It's fine.
At least you're doing them, though. You
I
have
mean,
voices.
that's got to be like my shtick now, I guess.
Yeah.
You gotta do
He
voices
shuddered
from
and
now on.
belched. He hung on me to keep from falling over, and he came on like an over-perfumed dowager who was disgustingly drunk. There is nothing quite as pathetic as an aged homosexual, especially when drunk.
Oh.
Rude.
Ooh.
Wow.
Ooh. Well, but that's
You
Buzz.
can't be
I
old,
gotta
you
say
can't
that's
be
Buzz.
drunk? Wow.
And you can't be gay.
I'm
Yeah.
looking up
Yeah.
what dowager means. Anybody? Bueller? Amber?
Hmm?
What
Yeah.
does dowager mean?
Yeah, like
I don't know.
like old. I don't know. I'm
Like
googling it.
It's
Like an old lady with money.
Dignified,
An old lady with
dignified elderly woman.
yeah.
money. No.
Dignified elderly woman.
She doesn't have
She
money?
got it. She was like old.
Yeah. Old.
Yeah,
Like
title
old.
or property derived from her late
Oh,
husband.
see, there you go.
Mm.
Okay.
Reading
okay.
Rainbow
Thanks
with
for putting that.
33% Pulp.
Right.
I went to you because of because of Fortnite.
Oh, right, Trebek.
Fortnite. That-
Widow
that I
versus
do know.
widower.
Yeah.
I mean, I know what Fortnite means, but it's just I thought it was funny that you like, just dropped it in conversation.
No, Pat
Just
said
casually.
it. Pat said it first.
Oh, see, there you go.
Jesus.
See?
Okay,
That's
okay.
fine. Okay. So if you haven't already, you should totally listen to The Night of the Crabs. our first
Yeah,
3
then you'll get the Fortnite inside joke.
Yeah.
You will understand, yeah.
Okay,
If you're listening to this in some random
and then
order,
you're gonna come back and you're gonna listen to this and you're gonna laugh. You're gonna laugh so hard.
Oh my god.
it's gonna be great. Listen to this multiple
Okay.
times.
So at this point, I'm thinking the author has a pretty low opinion of gay men, just based
Yeah.
on the way that it's written. And it's actually starting to bug me a little. It did when I first
Okay.
initially read it. Now I kind of just
Okay.
skimmed over it before I continued reading this. Anyway,
Fair,
and this
fair.
continues as Buzz tries to decide how he's going to get information out of DC without actually sleeping with him. Because this whole time DC is like trying to get him into, like, come to my den. Let's talk. So, if I went into DC's den with him, I stood only a fair chance of finding out what I wanted to know. But I stood a damned good chance, 1,000 to 1, that I would get assaulted by this drunken, sweaty monster.
Wow.
So here we have our first overt reference to queer as monstrous. I'm
Yep.
gonna throw that in there.
Yep.
Wow. Okay.
And
Okay.
then all of a sudden the lights turn. Then all of a sudden the lights turn down and the whole party starts getting naked. There were only shadows and silhouettes. Putting out the light was the signal for the bacchanal. Other lights went out. Other screams arose. Other men stripped and other men gathered about in tight circles. In what seemed only a second, the place had changed character, from evil to unmitigated. So,
Wow.
Okay. Well, I can. Okay. Wow. Okay. Well. All right. Okay. I can see why you had issues.
queer
with
monsters,
yes.
this.
yeah.
Yeah, okay, fair. But I did think that the representation of the first third wasn't that bad. But yeah, evil to whatever the fuck you just said,
Unmitigated.
is not a good, not a good thing.
So, again, Buzz is struggling with what to do to get info from DC, especially now that everyone's about to, like, get it on. And so he's thinking to himself, the hell was I being so squeamish about? If I couldn't handle a screaming Fladstool, okay, I'm putting Fladstool because it's not actually...
Good one.
What's the word? Fladstool?
Fladstool, and apparently it is the desk from which the litany is read at church service.
Oh my god.
Okay.
That one's really good.
So that's that word, in place of the other F-bomb. Screaming Fladstool. What was I doing on this assignment? I dealt with armed spies, with desperate killer agents, and here I was hesitating about going into a room with a sweaty, frightened, sobbing little man.
Wow.
So he's definitely not into DC.
Yeah.
In his defense, DC kind of sounds like gross. especially since he's like fucking wasted, like here's this hot mess in his sequin jacket and like in his Liberace mansion. Like it's not a turn on.
So remind me how DC is paying for these ex-boyfriends that he's being blackmailed. Is this right?
So this is what I believe so. I think so. Like this is what Buzz was thinking about earlier with like when he found out from Bev that the two of them had been whisked away by the Reds, right?
Okay.
So he was thinking that DC stopped looking for them because he heard from them and from whoever kidnapped them, kidnapped them, and then was now using that information to blackmail him for money to fund whatever it is that they're doing. I don't know. Amber knows.
Right?
Yeah, I guess. It's going to Castro, right? So.
Yeah.
Anyway, okay, so he finally makes up his mind to go with DC when Jazzy stops them. Jazzy pushes Buzz away and then leads DC through a door and somewhere down a hallway. And here's where it gets a little bit judgy with phrases like, so Buzz is like walking down this hallway, right, and checking like all these different doors, and like behind each door is like some other sex act being done.
Oh wow!
So
it's
anyway.
like that Bonnie Tyler music video.
I don't understand. Sorry.
You know that one where she's
don't.
running through the school with the it's an all boys school.
Is there sex acts behind every door?
What?
There's different naked guys behind every door, basically.
Oh,
it is like that.
Well,
then.
yeah, that's a thing that's happening. Yeah. So like one of the lines is, "I walked into a scene that planted itself on my eyeballs with a branding iron."
Oh God!
Is like his reaction. Another one is, "There was no woman present, and adultery means having illegal sexual relations with the opposite sex. But neither man was being faithful to any wife." That's another one. Right. So he is going down the hallway. He's coming across all sorts of shenanigans, right? Another one is like, he walks in this one room, and there's a man riding another man, like a horse, and saying, "Giddy up."
Yes.
Oh, is that not how you guys do it?
Which is...
I mean,
like, these are...
Tire section at Pride. I mean, the Folsom Street Fair is all about that. Like, there's lots of leather and whips and crops and things. Anyway, okay, so finally he comes to the last door, of course, to find Jazzy and DC partaking in some kind of kink that I have never heard of before and don't actually think is a form of kink, which is another reason why I think that this is like portraying like cake. You said
kink. Kink.
Oh, okay.
I mean, like some kinks involve cake, but this is not one of them.
Because you can pay people online to eat cake.
You definitely can.
God bless.
Right. God bless America.
I don't know. I was imagining cake this whole time.
And Romania, apparently. Never mind.
Anyway, what's this?
Okay. So, like, it's like. I feel the author is like writing it like it's supposed to be kink, but I feel like this is not actually a thing that people do, and this is just violence. Anyway, which is another reason why I'm like, this whole section is kind of like, I don't know how the author / Buzz feels about gay people. So apparently DC, the sad homosexual that he is, gets off on people beating him up, which is exactly what Buzz walks into when he breaks down the door they're behind. Jazzy is standing over DC and crushing his hands underneath his boots. He sees that DC's jaw is unhinged. It's like off to the side awkwardly. But he gets Jazzy off of DC.
Yeah.
And he looks into DC's eyes, expecting DC to be like, oh my god, like, stop.
Yeah.
But apparently his eyes tell Buzz that this is exactly what he wanted. So I don't really know what to make of that myself. Like, I consider myself to be someone who is sex positive, but this is on an entirely different level. Like, I don't think that this is really a thing. So,
and also, like,
but like,
sorry. The more you explain the scenes in your third, I had this question in my third, but the more you talk, I'm like, who is this book for? Because, it's clearly it's clearly from the heterosexual male point of view, and there's tons of heterosexual sex and, just huge focus on boobs. But then there are these scenes, and there are a couple in my third too, where it seems to be indulging maybe some homosexual readers, but I don't know, like, why would a gay man pick up this book and put up with all the crap just for these like fleeting scenes, these like literal opening of doorways into like, you get like a few seconds of like, ooh, that's odd.
Well, and here's the other thing. Remember, like, you had made a comment about how like Buzz should only, like, a gay man would know the difference between deep blue and lavender.
Yeah.
Like, it's a really specific. Yeah. So I don't know. Like, some of this to me is, well, I don't know that Buzz is like 100% straight, but I don't know either. And that comes up again, and I'll let you know when it does.
Interesting.
So anyway, Buzz knocks Jazzy out, grabs DC and takes him to the hospital where the ER staff are keeping their mouths shut because they are all just making these weird looks. Because they are like, what the fuck? Like, here's this guy, here's this beat up old queen in her sequins jacket with the chrysanthemum on the lapel, right? And there's this other guy, Buzz, who they have no idea what's going on, but they have ideas. They rushed him inside, and a cop came out to talk to me, trying not to look straight into my eyes, but checking me all over, especially my hands, to see if I had any bruises on them. But he got nowhere, and I could see him dismissing the incident as another goddamn Fandango brawl. Fandango brawl. Brawl. Right.
I got it.
And he wanted no part of it.
This is not an ad.
No, this is not. This is not an ad.
We're in no way sponsored by Fandango.
And he wanted no part of it. Bless his good, normal cop's heart.
Wow.
So it's like another, So like only a normal cop would react poorly to what he saw. And that's the end of chapter 10. So chapter 11, Ring Around the Rosie. It is Thursday, June 22nd, 9 a.m. Buzz has gone home, and it's the next morning. He's like going all around town, I guess. It says all around town, so like the location is all around town, but whatever. Right now he's in his apartment, contemplating the events of the last few evenings. He's trying to figure out who the leaders of this mysterious organization could be and how it is they have so much power over these people, so much so that they punish themselves and their own. So, for example, like Chad killing Martha and then Chad killing Chad. Like, this person, this very important person who they work for is so powerful that rather than go and face him for his failure, he would rather just die.
Wow.
So,
is it Fidel Castro?
Is it?
I don't know. I have no idea.
I said, is it Fidel Castro?
Well, he's clearly like on the other end of the plot. They're in Cuba. He's like they're on the receiving end of the money, right? But somebody's organizing it here locally.
Right. Okay. So after he's had some time to think about that, he heads to the hospital to see what he can get out of DC, but of course, DC has been discharged into the care of some private doctor. DC had been spirited away. Was he already on his way to join his boyfriends in Cuba? And was this happening because he had come too close to me and was about to spill the can of worms onto a man he figured to be a sympathetic fairy, a queer who loved love as he did? And if so, was the head of his studio about to receive a sample of film showing the producer in a rather revealing situation, one that could spell ruin to the studio's billions of dollars in investments? So, yeah, he's like trying to figure out, it's like DC's gone, so now what is their next move, right? So if they can't get money from DC, then who's the next best bet? It's going to be the person who is behind all the money for the studio.
Right.
Okay, so now, again,
Have we
Thursday.
met any, studio... Have we met any studio, moguls?
I don't think so. Not until this point.
Okay.
At least, not that I remember. I don't know. Did you not meet anybody in your first there?
I don't remember any studio people. The only person that I was thinking would be, Jeb Mordecai, but he was not movies. I forget what he was, but he was not movies.
He's not even in my third.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know any studio people.
Okay.
Oh.
All right.
Okay.
Okay, so now we have moved on to the afternoon. It's 1 p.m. and we are in the Queen's Court, so that bar. So he decides his next move is to try and see who contacts Jack Monterey, the straight eastern head of Smithers' studio and the one representing the big money behind DC's films. He heads to the Queen's Court, where he finds Jack sitting by himself, looking uncomfortable, surrounded as he is by all these queens, waiting for his contact, who never actually shows. Instead, he gets a phone call, which Buzz is able to overhear by listening from inside the bathroom by the phone. Jack is to meet up with a contact at the Dragnet in Venice later that evening. And the Dragnet apparently is like a drag bar, I guess, in Venice. So with this information, he takes advantage of Baby Lou, who I think you came across in the first third,
I did.
Right? So Baby Lou is his waiter and his avid admirer at the Queen's Court. And he asks him out to the Dragnet that evening to use him as a cover.
Smart.
And that's basically chapter 11. Yeah.
Cool.
So chapter 12. Let's all swing together. It's still Thursday, and now it's 8 p.m., and we are at the Dragnet. So painting the scene.
8 p.m. Jeez, it's kind of early now
It's
to be
so early. I mean, but this is the late 60s. I don't know. People go to bed and do things in the morning. Anyway, so painting the scene. It was located on one of the side streets running toward the beach and surrounded by empty stores and warehouses. The outside was decorated by a huge fishing net strung like a drape across the two black-painted windows. The door was narrow, lighted only by a small blue light above it. The small sign, painted on a slab of raw wood, announced its name. It was a place that was not easy to find or to even recognize unless you were fully aware of it. And to be fully aware of it, you had to be queer. Dun, dun, dun. So wait, this is where I was like, what? Wait, is Buzz actually queer? Did he just come out to us right now? I was like, how are you aware of it if you're not queer?
How was he aware of it? Did Baby Lou tell him? How did it happen?
I mean, so alternatively, it could have been from listening in on the conversation, right? But even if he heard the name of the place, I don't know.
He wouldn't necessarily know where it is.
Right, yeah.
But he's with Baby Lou, right?
Queer. I don't know. he's with Baby Lou.
Okay.
Anyway, so Baby Lou is all jazzed that he's Buzz's date, because everyone has been trying to get at Buzz this entire time. And he has no idea that Buzz is just using him. Meanwhile, Buzz tells us that he's hatched a plan with his boyfriend Pete Blake, his boyfriend, quote-unquote, Pete Blake from Washington, to let it be known who Pete is in order to get the organization to approach Buzz for blackmail and or kidnapping back to Cuba.
So he's gonna set himself up as a pawn to be kidnapped?
Yeah, so that he can get closer to this organization, because what he's been doing so far hasn't really worked. So if he can't get anything from this Jack fellow, right, then the next move then is
what
for
day
him.
is it?
Thursday. This still Thursday. June 22nd.
Oh, I mean, okay. So he's not even been there a month. Like, he's been there 10 days. Okay.
Oh, really?
Yeah, this entire
Wow.
book takes place in 2 weeks.
Oh,
Wow.
a fortnight?
My.
Okay. So, blackmail or kidnapping, right? So Buzz is like, it's a gamble, folks. Unless there's nothing else you can do, try some other line of work. A safe line, like being a window cleaner on the Empire State Building. Me, I've got no other line. First of all, how is that any fucking
safe?
safer than being...
Yeah, that seems
Facetious.
completely not safe.
I don't know what he's saying there. I just wanted to say that line because it just didn't...
Yeah.
Is it what? I'm sorry,
It
what?
must be like a joke.
I think he's being like, my job is like so dangerous that it makes window washing the Empire State Building look safe.
Right.
That's
Got
my
it.
interpretation.
That makes sense.
But
That makes sense. Yeah.
I mean,
anyway, I just thought it was a
that
funny
is
line.
funny.
Okay, so inside the dragnet, early as it was, the joint was jumping. There were Freds in drag, Franks in bikinis. so it was
Freds and
right.
Franks.
So imagine it's a different F
Freds
word.
and Franks.
So they're in drag and they're in bikinis. There were squealing wrist danglers, and there were hulking brutes in Levi's and sweaty sweatshirts. There were muscle men,
Oh my
and there were
god, why would
feet-
you be wearing a sweatshirt at a bar? Who does that?
This is the 60s. I don't know what the hell was going on.
Yeah,
back
their
then,
party
They're wearing,
started at
like,
8 p.m. I don't know.
Turtlenecks
They had different- yeah.
under their sweatshirts. Like, they've like misinterpreted what is hot to.
to make it more literal, yeah.
Yeah.
Or it, like, so maybe, I mean, like, because I know that there's like men out there who are into the musky smell, so
Mhm.
that could also be.
Ooh.
I don't know. I have no
Lazy.
fucking idea. I don't know. Okay, I don't know. So hulking brutes in Levi's and sweaty sweatshirts, right? There were muscle men, and there were effete and willowy pimple-faced strays,
Oh.
so twinks.
Oh, uh-huh.
There were
See, this is
blondes,
what I
brunettes,
mean, like-
redheads, and blackheads.
Blackheads. Okay.
There's
Yeah, that was. I don't know
on the
that refers to either.
pimples, the pimply face kids, or do they mean?
People with black. Yeah.
No, there were effete and willowy pimple-faced strays,
Uh-huh.
so young pimply gays,
Uh-huh.
and then blondes, brunettes, redheads, and blackheads.
Okay.
They danced together, drank together, talked together, and pushed in on each other together. Hands ran up and down backs and thighs, lips pressed cheeks, legs intertwined at stools and at chairs. It was, to sum it up, a roaring mess. Right.
I mean,
It's
that doesn't
judge's
even
judgment.
sound like a
Judgment.
mess. Actually, it just sounds
It
like
just
a regular.
Yeah, it sounds like
bar.
a right.
Maybe
right.
it's like, the effects of looking at this, like, what, 50 years later
Yeah.
or something?
Like, who knows?
Is this not
yeah,
just
maybe
normal?
it's yeah. I don't know. It's the new normal. And okay, so this part that's coming up, I'm just gonna read it to see what y'all's impressions are.
Okay.
Okay.
So here goes, and this is right after the roaring mess bit too. I've got nothing at all against sex in any form. Hell, if you can't swing one way, do it any way you can, I say. Me, the only way I could turn Nance is if I'd used up every woman in the world and had a lot of me left over.
Oh my god.
But what sickens me is the blatant display of sex for its own sake. I don't care for that, even if it's among those of opposite gender.
What?
I mean, when it's displayed with vulgarity, when people show it like a defiant banner, when a sect is made of the offering of sex, when they do all the preliminaries in a big and vulgar way as though the preliminaries were the end-all. There has got to be something sacred about sexual relationships of every kind. It cannot be flaunted as merely an exhibitionistic symbol, show-off, grandstanding, mostly denied in the actuality of accomplishment. The drag queens, the screeching hybrids, the rough tradesters all protest too much. All give too much of nothing. I cannot pass moral judgment, but I can sure as hell hold my nose when I smell something foul.
Who is this fucking guy?
Is that okay?
That's
That-
fucking
no, I
Buzz,
wanna-
but that's like the
No,
author
yeah,
now, right?
No, I don't. I don't think so. I think that's Buzz, because otherwise,
Really?
first of all, that's a complete contradiction to what was in
And-
my
and
third.
my
because
third.
remember, like he's like at the strip club
Yes.
and like focusing on the exploding boobs and everything,
Right,
looking at
yeah.
everyone's boobs and everything. And so I feel like this is like Buzz speaking and not necessarily the author, because if the author felt this way, he wouldn't make a trilogy about this.
Right, yeah.
Yeah, Buzz is a total hypocrite.
Yeah, and what the fuck, Buzz?
Yeah, chill
Jeez.
out.
Chill the fuck out, dude.
Like, keep
You're
in
just
mind,
doing your job. Calm the fuck down.
when I hear this stuff, I like remember that this is a report that he's submitting, back to
I
his boss. And I'm
know!
like,
Yeah.
what is this? Edit that out.
Really?
Who are you?
I don't know.
Yeah.
Anyway, but like, so at the very least, Buzz has some conflicting feelings, even though he, I don't know, whatever.
That's what I mean though. Like, I mean, that's consistent with my third anyway, is that like he feels both this like need to express his heterosexuality like over and over and over and over, while simultaneously totally partaking in every. I mean, he went through the fucking maze of brothel gay thing, like he went through every single door, and we saw inside every single door. So there's this like fascination and also disgust. I mean, I guess, in that sense though, that would go with like the kind of Bakhtinian carnival or something that like would coincide with a queer monster idea, So I don't know.
I don't know.
Anyway, so yeah, I wanted to read that part out so that I could get some.
Yeah.
See what your feedback is. Okay, so inside, we've been inside the bar. Buzz watches Jack sit uncomfortably at the end of the bar, wondering if his contact hasn't stood him up again when a quote-unquote hood shows up from the back room of the bar.
Hood.
The sexy times room. Yeah, a hood, apparently, so like 1960s slang, a hood is like a petty criminal.
Oh. Like just a bad guy. He's just like
he's like a random bad guy. Yeah, he's like Okay. So the hood comes out and brings a startled Jack back with him to have a little chat in the back room. Luckily, Buzz is able to listen in on their conversation after he crawls out the bathroom window, which just so happens to lead to an alley that shares another window with that back room. So Buzz is outside. He's in the alley listening in on the window. He is listening to the hood blackmailing Monterey into paying whoever $1 million a year to keep a lid on DC's being a fairy and ruining the studio's reputation. There's a lot of frat boy this and furry that. So,
what? Really?
Yeah.
Seriously?
But like not really frat boy or furry. Yeah.
Oh.
And I didn't particularly like it, but whatever.
I was like, oh wow, that's like, look at the diversity.
Nope.
Okay. So there's all that. Also, something about this money going to Castro in Cuba. So here I have my first like idea that so like this is really going to Castro, and some confirmation that whoever is blackmailing DC took Cloud and Ruff Ryder, remember Cloud Hopper and Ruff Ryder, and used them to get money out of DC. So that's all been confirmed at this point now. So, but as Buzz is listening in on this conversation through the window, he gets a whiff of a perfume that reminds him of Vijay. Twice. He gets it twice.
Vijay?
Vagina?
Yeah,
Wow.
of something.
Wow.
Yeah, so
Vagina perfume.
but like a woman.
Okay.
It reminds him of a woman. But I said Vijay because I wanted to say Vijay.
All right. You're...
Because Lindsay and I are both like,
Wow.
no.
Oh God!
Anyway.
Like, has this Vijay taken a shower, or is this like?
I'm gonna make like a.
Or is this like the sweaty men in the sweatpants?
Right, yeah.
Like, what is? No, yeah, it reminds him of a female.
Okay.
So he smells it twice, and after a second, there's the sense of a swift movement, and then it's lights out. So someone has knocked his ass out in the alley. Someone who he has associated with this perfume smell. Which was there a perfume smell in the first third, Lindsay?
I don't recall a perfume smell.
That would be like associated with a character? You don't remember?
Not that I recall, no.
Okay. All right. Well,
Amber, do you
I'm glad you
know
brought
what
it
the-
up. That's all I'm going to say.
Okay.
Mhm.
All right. Okay.
Okay.
So
yeah, all right.
that's the end of chapter 12. He's been knocked out. Okay. So chapter 13. See what the girls in the back room will have is the title. So it's still Thursday, obviously. Well, maybe not so obviously. I don't know. It's 10:30 now, so it's been 2.5 hours since we've gotten to the Dragnet. And we are now in the back room. Buzz comes to. He's tied up to a chair in the back room. Also, Jack is tied up and unconscious in the corner opposite him. Looking around at his captors, he realizes they were, so help me and all the rest of us humans, rough, tough mobsters in drag. So, yeah.
Yes! That sounds amazing.
So,
oh my god.
So there's 6 of them, and they're all mobsters in drag, apparently.
Okay, who's Jack?
Jack Monterey. So the head of the Eastern Division of the studio. Or
The
whatever.
guy he followed
the one who
to
was
the
in charge of the bunny.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay,
Yeah.
okay. Sorry,
the one who's
sorry.
now
I'm
going to
on
be
board.
blackmailed in place of DC.
Okay.
So Buzz does describe them in detail in the book. The wigs, the makeup, the nails, and the outfits. A lot of it is painting this idea of female and feminine as monstrous when displayed by men. That's just my comment on that. I don't have to read it out. There's some more F-bombs of the queer kind, and he is aware that the perfume smell he'd sensed earlier is missing from the room.
Okay.
So whoever knocked him out is not there? Question mark. And I put in my notes, question, is it Bev? I don't know.
Ooh.
So anyway,
That
one
would be
of
quite a thing.
That
That
would
would
be
be
a thing.
quite a turn.
right, a twist. Anyway, so one of the drag queens / mobsters, has a gun, and they're trying to get Buzz to tell him why he's outside. So he tells Susie Q, who is the name of the ringleader who has the gun, the ringleader of the 6 drag queens that are holding him captive. He tells Susie that he'll whisper it in her ear. As Susie gets close, he's able to knock the .45 that she had, the gun, out of her hand, get out of the chair, and basically beat up all 6 of the Goyles, as Susie affectionately calls them.
The Goyles, cute.
Right? Right. So he beats them all up. Then the bar is raided by the cops. He leaves Jack behind because he can't get him free and out the window before he's got to bolt himself, because it'll be a hassle if he gets arrested by the cops.
Yeah.
He is, however, able to get back around and casually walk up to his car in the front of the bar. And because, remember, Buzz is like super straight acting and mask presenting, the cops loading men into the paddy wagons let him pass.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right. So it turns out Baby Lou is the one who called the cops. He tried to get into the bathroom to find Buzz, because remember, he went through the bathroom window to go listen in on this conversation, right? And so he tried to go get Buzz out of the bathroom, found it locked, and then he heard the mess happening in the back room. And this is Buzz. Worried only for me, and because, as he put it, love knows no bounds. He went out to a corner phone booth, yelled for the cops, and then waited in the car with his fingers crossed, hoping the raid would create enough of a mix-up for me to get the hell out. I tell you, they're not all bad. And many are as smart as you and me.
Oh, wow. Okay.
See? There you go.
There you go.
Okay, that was rude. That's fucking rude.
Hold up. So this kid goes out to the phone booth and yells? He doesn't call 911. He's just like, cops.
I feel like yelled is not like actually yelling, but like, because it doesn't make any sense, right? So I just assumed that yelled was just like another way of saying that you were like, I don't know, calling the cops.
Okay.
Get them to come. Yeah.
People are taking things really literally, like calling the cops, like
I don't know.
Sweatshirts.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. We could probably chill out.
Anyway, so apparently not all queers are bad. Some of them are as smart as you and me.
I've met some, honestly. You guys, for example, are like pretty smart. So, do you want me to cut
thanks,
that?
Buzz.
Do you want me to cut
thanks
that?
for that, Buzz. No, that's fine. Thanks, Buzz. Anyway, so Baby Lou is all pleased with himself because he's like successfully helped Buzz out of a sticky situation. But then Buzz later turns down a disappointed Baby Lou who expected some sex for saving him.
Aww.
I know, sad. because he thought he was going to make it, but he was just being used that entire time. Anyway, so Buzz calls Monterey's office the next day to find out where he is, finds out the hotel he's staying at, calls there, but Jack doesn't answer. He then rushes to the hotel. So end of chapter 13.
Why is it? Oh, the hotel.
Right. So he's taken Baby Lou home. He's gone home to his own place and then calls Monterey's office the next day to find out where he is. And so he finds out that he's at this hotel.
Okay.
But he doesn't answer, so he's got to rush over. So chapter 14. The Best Laid Plans. It is now Friday, June 23rd. It's 10:45 a.m., and we are at the Beverly Way Hotel. So he makes it to the hotel, rushes up to Jack's room, and he's just fine. He's sitting in a chair, irritated because he must have just talked to someone he doesn't like. Buzz notices the smell of the perfume again. And then I wrote here again something that he must have come across in the beginning of the book, but then Lindsay said that she couldn't remember.
The vagina perfume?
Yes.
At Jack's?
Oh, the vagina.
The perfume that makes him think of somebody that he can't quite place his finger on. Anyway, so he tries to convince Jack to give up the leader of the spy ring by telling him he works for the service, but it's no good. Jack thinks it's just a test to see if he'd give up the ringleader. So angry, Buzz leaves the man behind because he's just like, I can't get anything from this guy either. So he heads back to the Queen's Court, where Buzz decides to wait for someone to contact him, because remember, he has already put this other plan into place to make it seem like his handler, Pete, in Washington, is really his boyfriend. So presumably someone would want to blackmail Pete if they have Buzz. Anyway, so sitting at his table, he gets another whiff of the perfume, but he can't find where it's coming from. Then in comes Wee Willie Hancock, who apparently is a well-known bisexual whom you do not approach, but who approaches you.
I would like that power.
Me too. Really though. Like, hey baby. So he's just like sitting at the table, kind of looking at what's happening around him at the bar. Sugar Pop comes in. And this is, I actually wrote down here that her and Merle are siblings, ? And now I know the answer is yes, because of the first third. Yes. But then they leave in a hurry, which is suspicious.
Both of them?
Yes, both of them leave in a hurry. Then Hancock, very coolly and masculine, comes to Buzz's table. They make little pretense of what's happening, since it's a known fact that when Hancock approaches you, you go with him. They head to Hancock's place, and then... So they're heading to Hancock's place. And Buzz thinks this is either the one thing that's going to get him in contact with the ring, or he's about to be having some gay, sexy times with a bisexual guy. And that's it. That's the end of my third.
Yay!
Oh my gosh!
Yay! Yeah. There we go.
Okay.
That's great. That's full of drama.
Yeah, so much. This book has like so much.
It is packed. Yeah.
It is packed. Like, and yet sometimes there's unnecessary information.
Yeah, I'll say.
You're right.
But it is got a lot of information. Wow. Well, so Daniel, let's me and you make predictions. So I mean, I still think Jazzy's a bad guy, no?
No, yeah, Jazzy is definitely a bad guy. He's working for the ring. That's why he had to yeah.
Good job.
That's why he had to that's why he took DC away from Buzz, right? Yeah. Because he knew that Buzz is an ex-G man, right? So he might be able to get some information out of DC if he doesn't shut him up. So that's why he shut him up. Although it seems also like DC was into it. Yeah. But I really don't understand that.
Does DC come up in your bit, Amber?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay, well, Daniel, why don't you make a prediction then?
Well, my prediction is that Bev Tyler is the perfume lady.
Interesting.
Yeah, because, another thing is, like, I wouldn't have had access to her smell because she was only in the phone with Buzz in my
Interesting.
So, I don't know what she smells like.
Well, and I think that the night that she showed up to his apartment, okay, so I think that it's Bev Tyler because I think that whoever the ringleader is was not satisfied with the answer that Chad and Aunt Martha gave them about Buzz's queerness. So I think Bev, like, to follow that up, right, went to his apartment to try to seduce him to see if she could get him to fuck her. And then he turned her down, and then she was pissed, so she left. Right?
Yeah.
But I think...
Yeah.
So I think that it's... well, if nothing else, Bev Tyler has something to do with it.
Okay. I mean, it would make sense, because why else would she be there, right?
Right,
In the narrative?
Right. Or she could be a red herring. I don't know. We don't know.
Yeah,
Amber knows.
Amber knows the whole thing.
Amber's got
I love
leads.
knowing. The last third
all
of the
the
book
answers.
is fun. Cool.
All right. Well, next time, so next episode, in a week from Thursday.
Amber will do the conclusion.
Yeah.
Yep.
Wow.
Excellent.
And,
very good.
Yeah, friendly reminder again. Anybody who leaves a review of our podcast, which would be it would just be really nice and helpful. You'll get a bookmark if we can figure out who you are. Like, you can leave a review and you could email us at weare3 THREE at 33
spelling.
Those are the digits.
Whatever. Just look on our website and you can find all the ways to contact us. You can be like, hey, I left a review. I want that bookmark. Or you can give us some sort of identifying way to contact you in the review. That works too. And so anybody who leaves a review gets a bookmark. Anybody who leaves a review will be entered into a drawing also for a copy of The Man from Pansy by Don Rico. I know we just recapped it for you, but maybe you would like to read it.
Have the physical copy.
Read it unedited.
Have it for
Decide
posterity.
for yourself.
All those F words in there.
Unabridged.
Exactly, unabridged.
Unabridged, yeah.
So we will announce those winners during the last the last third of our next book, which is A Corpse for Christmas, which will be releasing right around the holidays. It's really sweet.
So it's to you.
So speaking of books, we've had a couple people ask if they can submit book suggestions. And the answer is yeah, feel free to do that. The idea behind this is that we're reviewing books with covers that like you look at and you're just like, what the hell is possibly inside this? So if you know of a book like that, that's a great one to suggest to us. There are a couple things that we, before we pick a book, we just have to make sure that there are 3 copies kind of readily available to us because we all live in different cities.
Places,
yeah. And they can't be like too expensive. Some of these pulp novels are like hundreds of dollars, and we're just not there yet.
Yeah.
You can help us get there by leaving a review. And then we'll buy whatever book you suggest.
We will buy whatever you want.
In the meantime, we need books to be anywhere from free to about $5.
Yeah.
So, you can leave suggestions. Those are the reasons why we might not pick your suggestion. But we love hearing from you guys.
We would love to hear about them. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, please.
So that is what I have to say.
Mm-hmm. And so to keep up with the show, please subscribe to this podcast wherever you subscribe to podcasts now, whether that's iTunes or somewhere else. If you'd like to reach us via social media, our Twitter handle is at 33, those are the digits, _pulp. On Instagram, we're at 33, also digits, pulp. And our website is 33, those are the digits, pulp.com. And you can also email us at weare3, THREE at 33pulp, those are the digits.com.
I just had this nightmare that people are typing in 33, those are the digits, pulp.
I mean,
because we keep saying that. You guys, you know how the internet works. Just freaking search for us.
Yeah.
You'll find us.
Yeah. You'll find us. Yeah, you'll find us somehow. Just Google it. Just Google it.
And thank you for Googling, and thank you for listening.
Yes,
thank you for being
you
listeners. You beautiful listeners from all over the world.
And that's a wrap. Bye.
Bye.